So, hi everyone, my name is Julia. I'm representing today Product Management Festival. We have a new session, a new edition of PMF Connect with a very interesting topic, which is still up to date. Apparently, most of us still have challenges with it, but we have two experts today who are here to help. They're going to do a presentation and then at the end, do their best to answer your questions. Before that, I just want to say a few words about Product Management Festival and why we do this session, what else we do, and how you can benefit from the activities and from the Trends and Benchmarks report, and after which we will switch to our guest today. So, Product Management Festival is itself a conference. We have the next edition in Zurich on the 9th, 10th of November. It's going to be around 1,000 product managers from all over the world who meet in person. We have around 50 speakers. If you have a chance to travel, it's a super useful event. You get to learn, you get to meet a lot of peers, maybe even find a new job opportunity. And usually it's also an opportunity to just connect to the others and yeah, feel no longer feel like the only one who has the challenges in your company. So if you're free in November, check out the website and maybe join us. If not, there are other ways you can connect to the product management festival community. We are doing these sessions right here, but we also start again to do events in person. We do PM nights, we call them. It's a meetup in the evening after work, 30, 40, 50 product managers. We have three coming up. One will be in Zurich, Switzerland, one will be in Milano, Italy, and one will be in New York. The information will be published on our website. If you have any questions, just reach out to us. We'll be happy to answer. And as well, if you want to organize one in your location, we support you with our network so you can find company which will offer the space. We can facilitate some speakers. So if you're a product manager with initiative and want to get more involved, we're always looking for new opportunities. At the end of this month, we are planning to release a new edition of the Trends and Benchmarks report. This is a completely free report we are providing to you because our goal is also to support product management, product managers and product management as a craft. So you get to build better products, you get to establish processes inside your company. What we want in exchange is that this report is shared to as many people as possible. And when we send out the survey, we would really appreciate if you answer it, because that's the only way we can do this. Stay tuned. We will have some exciting events where we discuss with some experts the results from this year. You will see how the pandemic has influenced our product management lives, and also evolutions in salaries in countries around the world. If you are a product leader who is looking for a way to get to your next opportunity, become a VP of products or a CPO, or if you are already in that situation, you have recently taken a role with more leadership in product management and feel like you need some sort of training, some tools, some people to talk to, we run together with INSEAD, which is a super famous business school with a very good MBA. We run with them a 1-week program where we focus on giving product leaders or aspiring product leaders this set of skills so they can really do an amazing job or get into a position for that. Apart from that, we also have some more some smaller events for product leaders. We call them product executive circles. These are get-togethers of 10, 15 product leaders who are discussing really challenges. There's no recording there. It's a safe space. So as well, if you are a product leader and are interested in getting together with others in your location to discuss maybe challenges you have with your CEO or in general your company, which maybe you cannot address there, reach out to us and we can give you some information. That being said, I just want to add one more thing about the upcoming event on 9th and 10th of November. This is our big moment of the year when we get to see a lot of you. We already started to announce some of the speakers. Almost every week we have new speakers added to the program. There's going to be 50 amazing product managers, product leaders sharing their knowledge with you from different companies from all around the world. So if you're interested to stay up to date, check our website, sign up for our newsletter. And with that being said, I would like to introduce our two speakers today, Daniel and Julia. They're gonna speak to you, present to you outcome-focused roadmaps for product market fit. This session is gonna last until 3 p.m. Central Eastern Summertime. If you have any questions during their presentation, please write them in the chat. We're gonna take them at the end and do our best to help you out with your challenges as well. Daniel, Julia.
Awesome. Thank you for the introduction. Thanks for having us here. Let me just share my screen and get this started. All right. Yeah. So basically, I'm just the co-host. So Julia and the team of Airfocus asked me to do this webinar together with them. So I will be talking about some of my findings and some of the concepts I know around optimizing roadmaps for product market fit and how to actually structure roadmaps on a bigger, more strategic level. And afterwards, Julia will showcase how this can actually be done inside the Airfocus software. So just skip the table of contents. You can read that afterwards. So just a quick introduction from me. I'm Daniel. I'm living in the Netherlands, and since about 20 years, some 18, 19 years, something like that, I've been working with digital products, and I've been a developer, I've been a UX coach, I've been a Scrum and Agile coach. But the biggest share, like the last 10 years, I've been responsible for different products and guided other product leaders in their journey. I'm working as a mentor, so that's kind of my thing. So I'm really proud to be able to speak here today to you. Since beginning of this year, I'm working at SaaS Group, a small company. We're buying software as a service startups and invest into them and help them grow. And I'm responsible for product management across all brands right now. So I think right now we have 10 or 11 brands. So that's exciting. We're buying like 2 to 3 more software startups per year, and growing really fast. That's what I'm currently doing. But I'm also an author and a consultant. So last year I've published my first book, From Vision to Version. It's a very coherent, straightforward framework to how to actually come like a cooking recipe to your product vision, how to get to a very solid strategy that translate your vision into a roadmap, and how to phrase and actually develop your roadmap items. So putting everything together. And I brought this into this because actually Malte, the CEO of Airfocus, did write one of the expert insights inside this book. So you'll find a few of his insights as well, as alongside of 8 or 9 other experts who were so kind of adding some content to my book. So, but that's not the topic for today. Although I shamelessly plug this here to give you a discount code at the end of the webinar if you're interested in buying this ebook. It's available to you, but right now it's about product market fit. So when I'm speaking about PMF, it's not about the festival. It's about product market fit. Though the same acronym, and there is this magic number for 40%. So what's this about? Product market fit, in the broadest sense, it basically means that you have found a very good market and that your product or your company actually satisfies that market with your value proposition and your product. So that's kind of a broad definition. I would say you've reached product market fit when you've actually found a very specific problem that is worth solving. So there is a market, there's a demand for this. Then you have found a good solution, a product that actually solves this problem and does solve it better than other products. Products not only meaning direct competition, but also workarounds and other things people currently do to make that pain go away. And more importantly, and that's kind of the lead into this method, is you do play an important role in this customer's life. So you might not have product market fit for a very broad audience, but for your core market, you should be so valuable that it really would hurt if you stopped building your product. If you take your product from the market, it should be an outrage across your industry, across your user base, because they really depend on this. That's kind of on the broad terms what product market fit actually is. And there's a way to measure this. And as far as I'm aware, it's the only really working way to measure product market fit. And I didn't invent this, so it's from Sean Ellis. He was the first guy to coin the term growth hacking, and he's been the head of growth for Dropbox, LogMe, and Eventbrite in early days. So I think he kind of knows what he's talking about, and I've used this framework in dozens of startups as well, and it's really working super great. And I tell you in the course of the webinar why this actually leads to better roadmaps. So basically, you have a simple survey you ask your existing customers. So it's not in the very early stage when you still try to figure out what kind of product do I want to build. But once you have some kind of traction, you have some kind of user base, so like at least 500, 1,000 users, something like that you should have. And then you ask them this very small survey, 4 questions, and the main question is the first one. How would you feel if you could no longer use our product? Very simple. Would you be very disappointed, somewhat disappointed, or not disappointed at all? Then to give some insights into what to do with this number you actually get from the first question you ask, what type of people would you think benefit from this product? So think in terms of job titles, what user personas, what functions would benefit from this? What is the main benefit you personally receive from it? And for you personally, how can we improve our product? So now I walk you through how to make something insightful from these 4 questions. The first thing is you want to make sure you don't want to be everybody's darling. So it's not your goal to achieve product market fit in the first place across all your users. You will have some users who use your product because they're doing something weird with it, and not what you actually intend the user to do with it. And that's fine, that's okay. You got some of those, I would call them freeloaders, and that's fine, but you don't want to optimize your product for everyone. What you want to do is you want to build your high expectation customer. So this is kind of the base persona, but very much focused around the concept of jobs to be done. So that's the type of user who has a very good understanding of the market. He knows the different products. He's very aware of the problem. He experiences this problem every day, and he chooses your product based on your core value. Not because of aesthetics or because some other guy told him to, or because it's just your fancy brand, because you're the best product for solving this specific problem he has. That's your high expectation customer. So you look at the answers of your first question. So who would be very disappointed? And then you try to look at the second question and just the answers those very disappointed people gave you. What type of user would benefit from this? And this is your hint into what's your user persona, what's actually your core market. The people will tell you. And if you then segment the whole answer set again only by these customer types, by people who are actually belong to the same segment, to the same data profile, then the graph changes a bit. And that's kind of a big impact here to be aware of, that you're focusing from this point on not on your whole customer base and on across all your responses to the survey, but you focus on who is belonging to this persona group. So that's kind of important to know. And then finally, the magic number 40. So Sean Ellis, he found out that based on studies across, I believe, over 1,000 startups he's done this with, that you need to have 40% of this user group to answer very disappointed to have product market fit. All right? If you got more than 40%, awesome. That's kind of the point where you want to stop trying to figure out, do you have the right solution? What could the direction be? But you nailed it. Now you want to invest into growth, into marketing. You want to widen the funnel at the top. If you're below like 15%, I would say you're so far away from product market fit, you should get back to the beginning and I think again, is this problem worth solving? Do I have a really good solution? And start from scratch. It's not worth it trying to optimize. But I would guess, and it's, at least in my experience, that most companies fall somewhere between 15 and 40%. So that's where you can really do something with the other responses to the survey and optimize your roadmap to finally get there over time to this magic number of 40 and actually across 40% into higher rates. So what are you going to learn from this survey and this product market fit study? You might not be aware of this right now, but you're going to have 3 major insights. So the first thing, and you get that by the combination of who is very disappointed and what did they answer to the second question, who is your persona? You might have a good idea right now, perhaps you've already done some user studies, you thought about user journeys and jobs to be done and personas and target groups, but this will confirm and further deepen your understanding of your actual user base, and you can build this persona with these answers. Then you look at exactly the customers who would be very disappointed, and you look at what's their core value. So now you not only know who your core customer is, but what are they actually trying to achieve with your product? What are they getting out of this? This is super huge for a product at that stage to know. And lastly, you're not looking at the very disappointed customers, but those who would be somewhat disappointed. So they're kind of on the fence. And when you look at the answers to the fourth question, so what do they need? What is currently missing from the product that they need? You now get some hints into what should you add to the product to sway a few of those customers who are on the fence into the first group and push towards higher product market fit percentage. Those are the 3 things, and I think it's fairly amazing to get these things from just a simple survey you send out one day. Something you perhaps note here, we didn't look at people answering they wouldn't be disappointed. And that's by choice. You don't care about those people. You wouldn't optimize your product for it. You don't want to build something for them. You don't want to accompany them. It's not important. There will always be people who sign up for this and even pay for your product, but they're doing something wild with it you never wanted, and you can't optimize for everyone. So just disregard everyone who's answered they wouldn't be disappointed. There's no way bringing them over, and it simply isn't worth the effort. So what I would do afterwards, after you got these analysis, and make no mistake, to get to these insights, that's kind of the hard work, because they are, free text form fields inside the surveys. You really need to dig deep. If you got the possibility, you want to combine these survey data with your own user segmentation, user data, their lifetime value, the typical churn rate. If you got already segments built inside your product analytics, link them to the survey. But this takes time to actually look into the results and build something from it. But it's worth it. But afterwards, very good thing, and it's not related to product market fit. You should have this anyway. It's kind of one of the best practices that I forced the brands in our brand portfolio to actually use every day. You build an experiment backlog. So while we're currently talking about the roadmap, which is kind of the backlog for your features, for your product development, I think even as important as this roadmap is the experiment backlog. And you want to keep a list of things you need to learn, as easy as that. So from your findings in the survey, from everything you learn around customer interaction, and if you got, I don't know, user voice or something like that, user tickets, put this into this backlog, and then design experiments for validating them. I won't be talking today a lot about roadmap prioritization. I'm a big fan of the RISE concept, for example, and reach, impact, confidence, and effort. And what people don't realize, the confidence factor in the RISE method is kind of the most important one, and it's the easiest way to push something to the top of your roadmap if you just got more confidence in this. And you can only do this by running an experiment before judging this RISE score. So I would organize this experiment backlog by, it could be something simple as an Excel sheet, could be something more sophisticated, like doing something in Airfocus, for example, or I built a template in Airtable, for example. So there are a few ways to do this. But you want to organize by what user segment are you targeting for this learning? Is this your high expectation customer, or is this some potential customer? Do you have some sub-segments you want to address here? What is the actual opportunity, and what hypothesis did you derive from this? What experiment type? You can run A/B test, you can have a survey, a fake door, prototype, prototyping, mechanical Turk, whatever you decide to do. There are different experiments. And then you have something similar to this ICE or RISE score. You estimate the impact you expect this experiment to have on your learning, the cost, and the confidence in your current confidence in the hypothesis. And you multiply these, and then you get a score for what experiments are more pressing right now and what experiments you should do immediately. So this is a very, very important concept. But what to do now with this backlog? So one concept that I constantly use and I advocate for is talking about the explore and exploit ratio for your product development. And it's something that I personally think is like super easy to do, but people don't do it anyway, and I'm not sure why. So we all got limited resources. We don't have infinite resources at hand to build things. We need to decide where to put the money, where to put the developers. And developers is kind of the most expensive resource you can spend on a product. So what are we going to do with those expensive developers? And I believe it makes sense to split your development work and your teamwork or your product organization work into a bucket of exploration and a bucket of exploitation. So it all starts with exploration. Those are the kind of work slots you fill with experiments where you want to create learnings. And based on these learnings, you actually ship them and build them in the exploit block. So for example, if you decide for like the next quarter or the next half year, you're not really sure where to move with your product, then it would make sense to have like 70% of your resources put into exploration and only very little into the exploit block. So in exploit you would fix bugs and ship a few minor features, but it's not important right now. The lion's share goes to exploration. But after that quarter, once you managed to get these experiments into the wild and you made some insights, then you want to perhaps switch things up. Perhaps it's a 50-50 thing, or you only want to have like 20% of explore things and running experiments, and invest 80% of your roadmap into exploiting those learnings. But make this very, very explicit when talking to your stakeholders and when thinking about your product strategy and what to do with the next quarter. So it might not impact the items on your roadmap, but it will impact how many resources you can actually spend on working on your roadmap and how many resources you want to put into experiments. And by making this explicit, you also bring this on the table, because many companies don't explore at all. They don't do product discovery, they don't run experiments. And by forcing you to set a number here, and it might be as low as 5% or as 10%, you're forcing your organization to think about product discovery. And that's super valuable. That's not the only ratio. So one thing that I'm not sure if it was Sean Ellis or the founder of Superhuman, the email client, who also used this PMF survey to push Superhuman forward into product market fit, but they came up with the split of 50-50 to organize your roadmap. So now we're not talking about the product discovery, we're talking about actual things on your roadmap. And basically it's super easy. You want to put 50% of your efforts into strengthen your core values. So those features, where you already have product market fit, the core values they use your product for, improve them. Don't invest into new features. Don't expand into other markets or build some random niche feature 5% of your customers would benefit from. Improve and double down on your core value. You want to put 50% of your resources into this. The other 50%, you now want to put into features that would sway those customers who answered somewhat disappointed, to sway them into the highest product market fit category and really be a vital part of their user journey and their product experience. So that's super easy, but doing this, you make sure you're investing on a strategic level on the right things. Afterwards, you will think about what is actually a good idea to put on the roadmap, how you prioritize the roadmap. Then you think about the North Star metric, you think about back of the napkin calculations, you think about RISE score, and all the prioritization frameworks now come in handy. But on a more strategic level, this is where you want to put your money and your resources. So to put everything together, you start when you have some existing users and you run a PMF survey on this. From the survey, you get your high expectation customer profile, you derive your core values and your missing sway values. From this, you put some ideas, some hypotheses, some experiments into your experiment backlog, and you decide for development how much gets into exploration and how much gets into to exploit those insights, the X and Y%. In the first phase, you want to explore a few things and exploit in the next chapter of your product development. And in the exploit phase, which might be just a fraction of your whole development stream and your development resources, you divide strategically 50% to 50% between adding the core value and improving the core value and adding new features that would sway potential customers into being the high expectation customer profile. That's basically it. You release this, and as always, I advocate for an agile approach. Release and ship early, ship often, get learnings from this, bring this to customers, and like half a year later, you will want to run another PMF survey with new customers, not the same customers. So that's why you need some traction, some new customers, some new MRR to actually get enough customers for the survey to be valuable. I would aim for at least 50 to 100 responses based on your whole population. Probably you want to have like 300 to 400 responses to the survey. And if you can run this inside the app, like through something like Hotjar or similar, then I think that's a great idea. Otherwise, you could just send them an email. And I would do this only for customers who have been active in the last, I would say, 2 to 4 weeks. So we actually experience some kind of value from this product, and you don't want to ask this to people who haven't logged in the last 6 months. So just to give you an idea, that's kind of the big idea across this webinar. One thing that I always like to mention, it's more around strategy, product strategy, and not directly tied to this roadmap. But when coming up for roadmap items and where a product should be headed, what I get a lot from CEOs and from people is they want to hire someone more strategic, whatever that means, and they got this notion that there's always some creative genius, someone like I don't know, like Elon Musk, Tim Cook, I don't know, like these big players, and they just get out of the shower in the morning and have this very bright idea of the future of the company, and they nail it. They just got this shower idea and put this on the roadmap, and now your product will skyrocket. But I would say, yeah, that happens. And I also had some lucky shots where I got an idea, and I've been lucky with nailing it on the first try. But it's not common, and it's nothing you should aim for and nothing you should hire for. What you actually want is you want someone who's able to do this consistently. Sometimes they will fail, sometimes they will succeed. But you want someone who got the mindset, the tool set, the process to push out good ideas, to push out good product strategies again and again and again. And that's basically what I've been trying to describe and to write up in the book From Vision to Version. So it's a repeatable strategy process. If you're not very experienced and haven't written like a dozen different strategies before, this will get you to a point where you're above 95% of the market. And it's not about making you smarter in the shower, it's making you smarter every day in your job as a product leader and a product manager. So just as a very last shameless plug from me before I hand over to Julia from Airfocus, it's available on Amazon as well, but I would say, since we're all digital natives, just head over to productrockstars.com. If you sign up for the newsletter, you get a free chapter on crafting the product strategy. There's another chapter for vision, for roadmap items, for product culture. But you get that free chapter. And if you want the whole 260 pages with all the expert insights and the article of Malte Scholt from Airfocus as well, you get a 20% discount with the code AirfocusRocks. And I would be thrilled if you take the chance and give me feedback afterwards if this is beneficial for you. With that being said, thank you so much for your attention. We'll have an Ask Me Anything soon, but first let's see this come to life in Airfocus.
Thank you so much, Daniel, for this super insightful talk. I took some notes for myself as well. A quick introduction of myself. Hi everyone, I'm Julia, and I'm a customer success manager at Airfocus. I've been in the SaaS industry as a success manager for almost 5 years now, and I've been with Airfocus for 2 years. And my role in Airfocus is basically navigating between the customers and the product team, which sometimes can be very complex. So especially like listening and asking the right questions to find out what the customer's root problems are, and for us to understand like what the issue is, to find the best solution for it, rather than just dropping features. And yeah, today I'm here to show you how you can actually implement what Daniel was talking about in Airfocus. And yeah, Airfocus in general is the first and only modular product platform, which means that you can start simple with our ready-to-use templates, extend Airfocus as you grow and scale, and kind of build up as you grow. So you can basically manage everything from feedback management to powerful prioritization, clear road mapping. You can align your teams and stakeholders by sharing all the information. And you can manage everything from within Airfocus. And I want to show you how you can do that. Up front, I want to also mention that I'm only going to focus on some of the Airfocus features today, as time is rather limited and we really want to take a look at the road mapping part and linking it to Daniel's talk. So that being said, I'm gonna share my screen and jump right into the tool so you see what I'm actually talking about. I'm gonna kick Daniel out. So here we go. All right, I believe you see my screen now. Let me know if you don't. Yeah, so this is the Airfocus interface. You can, if you want, and if you're interested after the webinar, you can super easily create your trial version on our website airfocus.com. You will be able to trial for free, test out all of the features for yourselves. And once you created your team, you will be looking at something kind of like this. And it will be super easy to get started because we have a lot of templates that are ready for you to use, and they have a lot of different ideas behind them. We have technology ones, business ones, we have prioritization ones. Just scroll through it. They give you a lot of good ideas and frameworks to get started rather than building everything from scratch. Now, looking and talking about backlogs. First of all, we have our backlog, and we ideally want to differentiate between the backlog that is being fed internally, experimental backlog, and feedback and ideas backlog, because there's different work flows behind each of those, and one is being fed from external stakeholders and users, so like feedback and ideas. And you can also easily create an experiment backlog separately. So as you can see, I have here several individual workspaces, and workspaces can be backlogs and can be feedback backlogs, can be experimental backlogs, if you will. And those are being fed from different directions. So I have my opportunities here, for example, where I have my backlog, and this is being fed either by adding items manually or by one of the many integrations that we have available. You can integrate with Jira, DevOps, and so on, where you can pull all your stuff in, or you can manually add your items. Super easy and fast, or you can import them via a CSV import. And then I also have my feedback workspace here with another backlog that looks kind of a little bit differently. It looks like an inbox. I'm gonna get to that in a little while. That is being fed from direct user or stakeholder feedback externally. So how do those feedback items get in here? Well, we have different ways of collecting feedback, and this is one way of how you can also ask your users the questions that Daniel mentioned. You can create a really cool form and send it out to your users to ask just that questions, or you can obviously create any kind of form that you want to send out. And let's just quickly do that so you can get an idea of how this will look. You can either link it to your roadmap and ask for feedback on your roadmap, or you can also get feedback via a portal. A public portal where you publish information and your users can give you feedback via the forms that you design for yourself. So you can ask your questions, you can create your own fields here, and they can feed your feedback workspace by filling out the form, and everything that is being sent will arrive in your inbox, where you can then work with that feedback. You can categorize that feedback, you can look into that feedback, you can see all the information, who is the requester, where it has been coming from. You can work with labels, feedback types, customer tiers. So this is all information and fields that you can set up for yourself to be able to work with all of that feedback that you have gotten. You will also have the possibility to integrate with other feedback tools such as Intercom, soon Slack, Gmail, and so on, that can also feed your feedback workspace with feedback and ideas. And once you have your backlogs, either the internal one that is being fed from the team, or the external one that is being fed with feedback externally, you can actually move on to prioritizing everything. And as Daniel mentioned, there's different ways of prioritizing. So you can actually start with prioritizing and experimenting in a separate experimental workspace, and then also move on to prioritizing with other frameworks like the RISE framework, for example, as also mentioned by Daniel. And this happens in this prioritization framework. Important to add that this framework is completely customizable. You can either choose again from the templates, and we actually also have a RISE template. Oh, sorry about that. New workspace. We actually have a RISE template ready for you to use in the templates as well, that will create something that looks like this in really just 1 minute. And you can go through your backlog and rate all the criteria. So reach, impact, team effort, and revenue in this case. You can rate the criteria also, for example, with Priority Poker together with your team or individually, and we'll then get this priority score, and you can use this priority score to understand what is more important, what you have to work on now, next, later. You can visualize that beautifully in this chart view, where you have your quick wins, your don't do's, the strategic ones, and the low value items. And this, together with the priority score, gives you actually a pretty good idea on how to create your roadmap and what to base your roadmap on. And for road mapping, we have 2 different ways of how you can roadmap, and we're talking about agile road mapping here, which is why I want to show you the Kanban board, or the board view, where I create my agile roadmap. I can create my own columns here where I allocate my items these items are being fed again from my opportunities workspace that is linked to my road mapping workspace. So it's kind of all linked together, from feedback, from experimental to the opportunities that I have, and then feeding over to the road mapping workspace. So this works seamlessly. And yeah, super easy to create your roadmaps in here that you can then also share with your stakeholders again. You can share either by creating share links that are real-time updated and and read only for the viewers, or you can also again then go back to the portal and publish the information in here with these beautiful pages where you can have your roadmaps, where you can display the ideas that have been submitted, where you can structure everything, and where you can then again receive feedback from the users. And last but not least, I quickly also want to jump to our hierarchy feature. This is how you can actually then link your OKRs with initiatives and rather than features. Using this product hierarchy feature that we have here, you can very good define for yourself how the product hierarchy looks like. So where are your opportunities that are the parent items that then have their child items as their initiatives and tasks underneath. Yeah, that brings me also kind of to the end of this very, very short and fully packed 10 minutes of Airfocus. If you have any questions, which I'm sure you might have after this really short walkthrough, you can always first sign up to the tool and then reach out to me to get a more in-depth walkthrough where I can show you around and how everything works in detail. And I'll be really happy to see some of you guys and reach out to me and go through everything in greater detail.
Thank you, Julia. Thank you very much as well, Daniel, for your presentation. I see there are some questions on the chat, so let's take them. One is from Stephen Down. Stephen, if you're still around, we'd love to give you the opportunity to also ask it live. If not, yep. I will just, okay, excellent.
I'm here.
Hi.
So I was really interested to hear Daniel's thoughts around the PMF survey when it comes to, I work for a very big brand, it's very long standing, and it gets millions of users that visit the site every day. So just kind of like the way you think you kind of approach a PMF survey when you've got so many users and so much. But the thing you touched on earlier about how you deal with that survey if you have so many results and so much data to try and get through it, really.
Yeah, that's a really good question. So I would guess if you're a big brand, you survived your early stages, you're on a growth path, then probably you're behind that product market fit stage for your main users. Two ways to go about this if you got that large of a user base is to run this in a segmentation. So just for new markets or new user types where you're not sure if you got product market fit or a new part of your new model, new sub-project of your product experience. Or you could just run them more often with a smaller set of customers. So just like display this to 5% of your customers who signed in the last two weeks on a rolling basis to keep this as an ongoing indicator. You can do that as well. But then I wouldn't go into the effort to go through all the different answers. I would just take the first question, probably only just ask the first question, how disappointed would you be? It's for most products, I believe, a better way to measure satisfaction than the NPS score, for example. So if you're larger and you want to run this on your larger user base, use it as a substitute for the NPS. If you have kind of new product feature, a new segment, new market you're entering, run this on that market to see if your product market fit from the main market still holds true.
Yep, that makes sense. Thanks, Daniel.
Yeah, cool.
Great, thank you. Okay, next question from Dr. Mohammad Norzideh. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. What is the difference between prototype and pretotype in your point of view? Is it the same as Tina Sellings?
To be honest, I don't know Tina Siddick's, so I can just give you my own interpretation. I would say the way that I personally run prototypes, it's a subset of prototyping. So for me, prototyping is the bigger mindset of having really small experiments, the smallest you can think of. So we've done prototyping for Bosch for a new laser product, and just had a trash can and mount something on this, and then the laser and spin the trash can in the room. So that's kind of prototyping. There are in this prototyping framework a few experiment types you can run. So it's a good source of inspiration. And prototyping for me is just one of them. But a prototype is a digital click-through prototype, a click dummy of your product in what I'm talking about.
Cool. I hope this answers your question, Mohammed. We have another question coming from Michal about the integration of Airfocus, I guess, with app queues. Do you have an integration with app queues, Julia?
Hi, thanks for your question. We currently have not a direct integration, but we can super easily actually set one up using Zapier. There is a template that you can use that is ready and being set up. Also, there's so many insights and customer feedback tools out there, and we're continuously adding a lot more actually to our integrations that we have available. As you can see, like we have a lot already. There's being fed more and more here, so app queues might come also as a direct integration. But that being said, you can already use it.
Great, thank you. So I think we would have time for one last questions. If anybody wants to ask it, please type away. In the meantime, I would like to say that we really appreciate your time, Daniel and Julia, and thank you, Airfocus, for making this session possible. We are going to share the recording with everyone who signed up to be part of this meeting, even if they're not here, so that you get the chance to dig deeper and see. Both Daniel and Julia are available after this session if you want to just ask them any additional questions. And I think Daniel as well mentioned that you can, if you're interested to acquire his book, you have a discount code, and he looks forward to your contacts on LinkedIn. And for us, we're going to have new PMF Connect next week on the 28th. We're gonna announce it soon. And Daniel, Julia, do you want to say anything before we close?
I think there has been one more question for me.
Yes, you're right.
Last one coming in. I'll be happy to answer that before we leave. Can you add clients in Airfocus with the restrictions? Yes, you can. We have several different user roles. I think the most fitting user role for this would be a contributor. That is a role that can view stuff, can comment on stuff, but cannot really change anything or move stuff around. But other than that, the portal that I've shown you and the Forms app, they allow also external people that are not Airfocus users to submit feedback, submit ideas. So yeah. Either you invite them to collaborate with you on a higher level directly in Airfocus, or you send them the share link with the form attached or the portal where they can actually also submit everything.
Excellent. Thank you for noticing that, Julia. Thank you for the answer.
No worries.
Good. Daniel, any last words from your side?
No, just wanted to say it's been a pleasure meeting all of you, or some of you at least, and yeah, hope you have fun the rest of the day and join some of the other sessions in the future. And if you want to reach out to me, do that. I'm always happy to talk with other product leaders and product guys.
Good. Thank you. Thank you both for your time today. Thank you everyone for participating, and we wish you a nice rest of the day and see you at the next PMF Connect. Bye.
Thanks for inviting us. Bye, everyone.